you got this challenge, you found out that the brick pit wasn't available, which is a huge thing to kind of have to contend with. What was going through your minds when you found that part of that out?
Well, I think the first thing, when we found that out, we were getting a look at, uh, I think it was the cars that we had first that were out there. So right away, I mean, I can't speak for Alex. I know right away I was already kind of looking at each one. We were kind of far away, so we couldn't, it was kind of guessing game, but at least colors and the
Yeah, I
type of
think, well,
brick, and we just kind of,
colors was probably what we were looking for the most, and it's probably
yeah.
led to our downfall. Um, but but yeah, it was definitely a little, nerve-inducing to know that we weren't going to have the brick pit at our disposal and we're limited in what parts we had.
Well, so when you were when you're looking at it from afar, how much could you actually see the bricks that you'd be working with? Like, was it beyond the colors? Were you able to see, oh, this might have significantly more bricks, or was it something where you were like, we can see a little bit and we're just gonna have to guess and go along with whatever it ends up being?
I mean, from where we were, you could get a rough idea, but it was really guesswork. Also, the cars, you didn't know what was inside of them, what parts they were used to put together. It could have been all Technic inside or all brick inside, or who knows. Ours ended up being a lot of brick. We just had a lot of 2x bricks, which was a big part of the challenge that we had in terms of our stability and our strength. But yeah, it was guesswork really.
So when it came time to actually figuring out your vehicle, what was the process like in trying to craft what you did? Because I know what we see as viewers is that the brickmasters are talking about they're concerned about the height of it, but like, was that something you guys were considering when you were actually crafting it? Was this something where you're like, we just love this idea? What was the kind of way to get that you got there?
I think it took us a while to get to an idea, and once we got to an idea, we kind of like fell in love with it. Um, and I think that might have led us to not think of certain things that we probably should have been thinking of because we were so excited about the concept and the idea itself. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
this challenge, it had the kind of unintentional benefit where we had to sort all our parts just to see what we had to work with and break them down and all that. So I think coming into the competition, my biggest fear was just coming up with ideas. And it wasn't an issue for us. Alex and I were always like, from like, I think 5 minutes was the most we ever took to come up with an idea. Like we always had a good idea that we were happy with and that we executed. This one, for some reason, took us a while to get an idea. Excuse me. We knew we wanted to do something that played back to our Cuban heritage and what it's like to be in Miami, and we just couldn't come up with an idea. And our colors, we had a lot of that brown, that light brown, or whatever they call it, medium nougat or dark nougat color, and we just thought of croquetas, which is something that we enjoy a lot. Alex's kids love them, so I think that, I don't think, at least for me, I can't speak for Alex, but the idea that it looked like the sub sandwich never
yeah, I
entered
don't think we
my mind,
ever, yeah, we never even thought about it.
never even occurred to me at all.
And
In
it's funny because at one
hindsight,
point we said, I don't know if it was burger, we said something, and we were like, no, that's too much like a sandwich. You can't do a sandwich. Just
yeah, I
not
don't remember.
even thinking about the fact that what we ended up coming up with was
Yeah,
like,
but yeah. So again, if we had been able to look at the parts in a different way, maybe early on, but you just got what you got, and everybody had that same limitation, and I'm still really happy with our build. I thought it was, I loved our build. I thought it was, of all the builds, I think the shark was the best one by far. Christopher and Robert nailed that. But I think ours was, as far as being in a video game and a cart that belongs in a video game and that kind of I thought ours was very successful. Fortunately, it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but we were pretty happy with it.
So once you guys actually built the thing and then you guys got in the racetrack, what was going through your minds, both as you were driving it and as you were watching that race go on? Because that was, at least on screen, very intense.
it was, yeah. So when we saw the racetrack for the first time, I think we kind of realized that we might be in more trouble than we thought of. because we knew it was off-roading, but we didn't realize the level of off-roading. And we knew that our car was big and stability was going to be a question. But once we saw what we were actually dealing with, and then started racing on the track, it was like nothing but sheer chaos and panic.
Yeah, the track, we got to test the car early on during the build, so it wasn't fully built, so it wasn't as heavy as it ended up being. And we knew it kind of handled like a boat a little bit. But seeing all the cars on the track, everybody was tipping over. So the track was just really tough. Even I think to the best, the most low center of gravity, best built trucks had a hard time. So we were up against it right away when we saw that track. Yeah, it didn't make it through the track very well, that's for sure.
Well, and I will say, as someone just watching, it was very stressful watching everyone try to get through the track because some people were very competitive and crashing cars into others. What was the mood like as you guys were like watching some of these drivers take it very aggressively?
Alex, you're the driver.
I thought it was fun. I wasn't expecting anything else. If you know Christopher, you know he's gonna go for it and maybe not abide by all the rules. And he went for it and didn't necessarily abide by all the rules. But it was great. It was fun. I don't think there was any ill will or maliciousness towards it. I think it was just everyone was having fun and getting to drive an RC car that you just built, and trying to get in first place.
How long were you guys actually driving on that track? Was it a few minutes or was it like
it was too long? I can tell you, it was just too long.
I mean, I think
we still think we did an extra lap, but
yeah, well, I think we should keep that one to ourselves, but
yeah.
It was, for me, I think we rolled over fairly early
out of the gate when I turned left instead of turning right,
and took some damage right there. So I was fairly resigned early on in the race that we weren't going to place high in the finish line. But it was fun. I still had a lot of fun. Listen, all the things on that show, the highs, the lows, I love them all. We had so much fun, so I enjoyed it. It was just a blast.
Well, so when it came time to finishing the race and you knew that things hadn't necessarily gone the best in the aesthetic looks, did you guys feel like you might still be able to eke out another week on the competition, or did you feel like our time may actually be at an end right now?
I mean, I think we were a little surprised. I think we thought that design-wise, we had something that was creative, and again, at no point did we, in our original feedback from the judges, did we hear anything about the similarity to the sub? So honestly, I think it makes complete sense, but I think it kind of caught us off guard at elimination that was one of the biggest criticisms.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see it until it was pointed out. Once you see it, you see it. But we really didn't pick up on that, and we were again so happy with what we had come up with, and we felt like we executed our concepts right, and one that's very close to home for us. That I guess we kind of had our blinders on, and I personally felt a little surprised.
I think winning the race was a bonus. There was no detriment for not winning the race, basically, other than that you were not safe, right? Like, so the race didn't go well for us, but we thought, okay, well, we're in the same boat as the other four that didn't win the race. So I think the only knock that got us was that it was similar to the sub, and I think that was a surprise. We didn't expect to hear that, and so yeah, it was a surprise for us.
Amy seemed really emotional when she said that you guys were the ones who were going home. What was the mood like when she delivered that news, both with her and your other contestants?
It was tough. Again, I think we were a little surprised, so I don't know. I guess we'll see how that shows up in when we watched the show, but it was gonna be tough regardless. I think we were already in a bad space because Emily and Kelly were probably two of our closest friends on the show.
Yeah, being up there with them
So
was
if
was
we were going
devastating.
home, it was gonna be miserable, and if they were going home, it was gonna be miserable. So it was gonna be a bad scene all around. And you know, even when Brad and Mike went home in episode 1, that was hard, and we had spent with them just a short period of time. At this point, you know, we've been so close to everybody that anybody going home is tough. It was, I think, extra tough that it was us. But man, I would have felt so bad sending Emily and Kelly home as well. So uh, there was no good outcome there. But you know, it was our time to go, and that's okay. We had a great time.